Thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. Squarespace is the all-in-one platform for building your brand and growing your business online. Stand out with a beautiful website, engage with your audience, and sell anything: your products, content you create, and even your time. Utilize Squarespace email campaigns to drive sales and engage your audience. Introduce your brand to new subscribers with welcome emails, announce upcoming sales, or send out a discount code. There are built-in analytics to measure the impact of each send. They have such flexible website templates. It's so easy to get started by choosing a template and then customizing it to look and do whatever it is you need or want. And a huge help is their analytics system. This is where you can gather and use all kinds of insights to aid in helping to grow your business. Head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you are ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/oliviareadsalatte to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thank you once again to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. Okay, so I just got home and I'm settling in to read this now. And sorry, I'm using the new camera, so I'm like not sure where to look, but we'll get used to it. But I am settling in to read this, and y'all, I'm really liking this. So the storm atmosphere is very strong. It's very much adding to the vibe, I would say. Also, like 30% in right now, and I was just gonna say, with a thriller, I feel like the first 25% should be establishing characters, relationships, where we're at, and then the next we should be getting going. And we were getting to 30% and nothing had happened yet, but as soon as I was thinking, okay, this might be a little too slow paced for me right now, stuff kicked off. It's starting and I'm so into it. I don't think this is the best. I have to say, there's a lot of background and inner monologue from the main character that is so emotion based that I think that this is not the typical thriller writing style, I would say. This, though, could work as a intro to thrillers for people who like more of like a general fiction vibe, because we're definitely focusing on the main character's divorce and battle for custody for their child, and how that's affecting everything, and how that is affecting this storm, and how also the storm is affecting all of that. And there's just a lot. But this is also really good with the domestic thriller people and crowd, because it's mess. And I am so happy to witness it. I don't even know if there's a way I can describe it without it being spoilers. I don't think so. But it is good old fashioned. And I love domestic thrillers. Domestic thrillers might be my favorite. I don't think anything else tops it. I think they are. So this was like, we knew I was gonna like this. So I'm gonna settle in, drink my water, read this, and I will check in either when I've had more thoughts, or perhaps I'll even finish it. I don't know yet. Hello, y'all. So I have my little nightly decaf, and I am about 60% through this book, and I have to say, I think the problem I'm having, okay Jake please, is that my battery's dying, so I might get cut off. But this is too much character based things and not enough thriller. It feels like a drama that has the backdrop of a thriller, and I don't like it. In that kind of percentage wise, it's definitely, honestly, 70% family drama, 30% thriller, and that's not what I was looking for, or how it is pitched, marketed, described. So I'm a little disappointed, but not fully. I don't dislike that it's family drama. I just wanted more thriller, but we still have 40%, so maybe we'll... All right, definitely got cut off. But yeah, that's not to say that it's bad and that I'm not enjoying it, but it is not what I thought it would be. And it's not exactly, I don't know. I would not recommend this as a thriller. maybe I'd recommend this as a domestic mystery drama kind of thing, because there was a moment that we just had at 50% where I was like, oh, okay, we're getting into like the true thriller, but we're not. And so I don't know, I just think there's a lot of time spent in the history. There's a lot of time spent on family dynamics, and it's taking a really long time for all those things to tie together to the overarching thriller mystery-esque thing happening. But it just, for it being a locked room mystery, it's just not even really doing the typical thing. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure how I feel, but I'm gonna get back to it, continue on, and yes, okay, all right, so we've officially completed that book, and was not my favorite, not going to lie. So let's dive into it a little bit. I definitely think that there was an issue with how much we were being told instead of shown in it, and I did kind of glance at Goodreads and I see that that's something that a few reviews have said, so I definitely think that that is the case, and that's disappointing to me because I feel like the atmosphere was set up so well with the storm and everything that I was really excited for it. So the setting was really good. The setting and the storm were probably the two best parts of this book, I think, and the potential was like really there to me, but I think it instead focused on the family issues and just not a lot of the thriller part. It started to just not feel like a domestic thriller anymore. It didn't even feel like a thriller at all. It didn't really feel like a mystery either. It just felt like a family drama set during a hurricane, and then some crazy things would happen, like to be kind of thrown in to make it feel like a mystery and a thriller, and it didn't really tie in perfectly. Now, I wouldn't say that it was not worth the read, because I do think that there will be some readers that like the things that were prioritized in here. I just was not one of them, and I also did not like some of the choices and like plot twists, because there's just a few that keep occurring in thrillers right now that I'm like, but for why though? Like, could have chosen anything, could have come up with anything, but that. And obviously, since it's a thriller, not gonna divulge what that is. You can take a guess. I didn't like several of them for that exact reason. So yeah, I do think that there's a lot of potential with this author though. This is her first book, so I'm excited to see what other thrillers that come out of this author, and I will read them. I'll, put my little request for purchase in and see what those have. I definitely think that the writing issues are just debut novel kind of things, typical, just a lot more telling than showing, too much inner dialogue, I think. I also didn't like the main character, so that was a really big negative for me, is I didn't like the main character, and we were hearing all of her inner dialogue, and it was a lot. Now, I do think one thing that could have helped is if this was multi-POV instead of a singular one. It might have like switched things up, and then also we wouldn't have to divulge into one person's backstory so much to where it kind of is like, okay, wait, what's the focus of this book? Because in thrillers and mysteries, don't care too much about the characters' backstories unless it pertains to where we're at now, and a lot of it I think could have been cut down and didn't pertain. Again, tying it back to if you want more of a like general fiction with a thriller vibe, this would probably work. So that is my thoughts on The Night of the Storm, and now I'm gonna move on to The Fury by Alex Michaelides. I don't know anything about this, so I'll check in with you guys when I figure it out, but it does seem to be a shorter one. Let's not look at a spoiler. It's 297 pages. How exciting for us. Okay, hi. Yeah, so this one is interesting. I think we're gonna be told this in acts, so I'm assuming there may be 5 acts. And because we're talking about a Greek island and we're talking about the author, well, not the author, the narrator of our story is a playwright. Allegedly, I never trust any of these characters. It seems we may be getting a tragedy, is what I'm gonna go out and assume. I have not read the synopsis. I never do, y'all. You already know this. But so far what we have is a actress who decided to retire at 40. She's invited friends out to the island. For some reason, it very much is giving me kind of Knives Out vibes, like the new movie that came out. So kind of like that, but it's an elusive, exclusive Greek island. She's invited them to, there's like a little hostility between some, they don't all like each other, and murder's gonna happen. The first chapter, I love when books do this, especially thrillers, when it starts out with the ending, and then when it's like, record scratch, you're probably wondering how I got here, and then it flashes back months or weeks or however long, and then we follow until they get to where we just saw them at. I really like that. The ending of that first little prologue was also really good. It was just like dramatic scream cut scene. I just liked it. So I do think I'm going to end up enjoying this. I have also enjoyed the author's other 2 books, so I think that's probably why I'm going to really enjoy this one. And in the essence of this being more vloggy, because y'all know my vlogs are not chaptered very well. We're very good with the flow life vibes. I did get When the Moon Hatched in the mail, and this is a new release fantasy romance. And so I think I may try to read this one for this vlog. If I finish it, that would be cool. It's 700 pages, so I don't know. The font is like not very big, if you can see that. And it's 700 pages, but this is KU if you're interested. I got this from the marketing people, the PR team for this author, so thank you so much to them. I will link this down below, whether or not I finish it, but I've heard nothing but good things. I kind of figured there will be some people who want thriller new releases, some people who want other genres, so I'm gonna do this because this one was calling to me. Typically that's what I do in these vlogs, is I just read the new releases that I've been excited about, but I feel like throwing a little indie fantasy romance in there is a good idea because I really do love KU. I want to support more authors on there, and this one just happened to come out right now and it was mailed to me. And yeah, we will see what I think about it. But for now, we're going to stick with this guy. So let's get started. Okay, so I've made it 90-ish pages into this. I'm about to start the second act. So I think I was right about this being told from a, what was I saying? A play-like way, and I'm liking it. It's really good so far. I like the writing. I like Alex Michaelides' writing though. It's always been good to me. It's always a very, I don't know, it's a simple writing style, but it's enough details that leave you intrigued, but it's not too much, I feel. And I personally am one of the people that does find his plot twisty and enjoyable. So I'm looking forward to seeing what craziness he gets up to in this one, but so far it is a good little time. I am enjoying it. I am gonna have dinner and then I will embark on Act B. Reading snacks. Back to work. Hi guys, let me put you on the update pillow. So it's a little bit later and I am on page 163 of this guy. And y'all, I love it. I love Alex Michaelides. I just think that his thrillers are just drama. Like, they're just drama. But it's in the way of, like, why is that not, like, focusing on anything? Hello? There we go. It's in the way of, the drama is created within the writing. The narrator is the drama. And I like that a lot. I'm trying to think of how it differentiates itself from the last book I just read, where I didn't like the family drama. But I think it's because the family drama didn't really lead up to the thriller aspects. Whereas this one, also, I would say that this is not a thriller. I would say this is a mystery. This is very much like a Knives Out kind of vibe. It's not a thriller like I think The Silent Patient was way more of a thriller. I even think The Maidens was more of a thriller, but it leaned more towards mystery, and I think this is full-on mystery. Like, I do not think that this feels like a thriller, in the least, to me at least. It's just a very fast-paced mystery, and I think that there is a difference between the two, but I think they often get lumped together. So I think that's part of it, is that this feels like it fully leaned into the fast-paced mystery, like we're just full steam ahead, baby, but also there's drama and there's backstory, but it's only backstory that adds to, like, oh, that kind of drama. It's not backstory for the sake of building relationship between the family. So I do think that that's the difference, is like the other one, because I was thinking, I just said that I don't like when it's like focused on relations. Maybe I don't like it being familial drama. Maybe, hello, ow, that could be part of it. Maybe I like the drama between friend groups or a group of people, because this is like a friend group. They ain't friends. They don't really like each other. And I think maybe that might be where one of the other differences is that I like that kind of feeling versus family. It's like, ooh, this is just kind of upsetting. Like, it's not tea. It's like tea, you know? Maybe. Anyways, I am really enjoying this. I do think if you have already previously liked his other thrillers, go ahead, just check it out from your library, put a hold on it, go pick it up. It will probably do the exact same thing for you as the previous ones have done, which is great and we love. So I am very much enjoying it. I'm probably just actually gonna just brush my teeth and then keep going. I'm actually not gonna, I was like, I'm gonna take a little break and I'm gonna do something. No, I'm not. I just want to keep reading. Like, I'm sucked in now. What did I say I was at? Page 163. So yeah, I have about 120 pages left and I feel like it's just gonna get crazier. My esteemed colleague has decided to join in on the goings on. What's your goal for reading tonight, Bean? Well, shit. Right now we are at a 0 for 2. Flop. Not a total flop, but there was something a little infuriating about this book. So the first 100 pages were fun, dare I say fresh. But then we got to a point where I could not tell if it was the narrator or the author himself that just thought himself very clever. And I do think the way that everything was done, like maybe the method of delivery was quite clever. None of the actual substance was very clever. Does that make sense? I think that this kind of, first of all, if you already like this author, I think that this kind of sticks to his thriller style in the sense of it's fun while you're reading it, but it's not good, you know? And I think that's kind of the theme of this video so far, because the other book, fairly enjoyable while I was reading it. The atmosphere was really good in that one, but there was just something missing. I honestly think that this one is that the atmosphere was pretty good. And I do enjoy this author's writing style before, because I've read, like I've said, all of his books now. The writing style being the strongest thing in a book for me is not good. Because if I don't care what you're writing about with that writing style, what's the point, you know? I think I would recommend this as I would recommend The Night of the Storm. If you are new to thrillers, if you like lit fic and you want to get into thrillers, this one, if you like plays or theater and want to get into thrillers, this is kind of like that. I would recommend it. But if you are a very well-versed thriller reader, I don't know if this is gonna like give you what you want. Because also when The Night of the Storm and this one, both I would say are more mystery. Now this one has a little bit more of the quick rapid turns, but again, like the other, it was just too little too late, I feel, for those to make up for the overall arching mystery genre vibe in a book that I thought was a thriller. So I don't know. On this one, they fully marketed both as thrillers, and I do think I can see why. But I think for me personally, I would not suggest going into this as a full throttle thriller. But you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna switch up the genre. That's what we're gonna do. So let's go get our next book. Okay, hi. We're starting it now. We're gonna start Raiders of the Lost Heart. So, first of all, already has a good point for me because Raiders of the Lost Heart, Raiders of the Lost Art. Yes. I don't know anything about that. Rival archaeologists must team up on a secret Aztec expedition where it could leave their careers and hearts in ruin. Okay? So, cool. Love that. I do feel like this kind of gives me Mummy vibes. Is that a reason I picked it up? Yes. This is one of the ones that I requested my library buy, and they did. I love my library. Go to your library. So let's go ahead and get this one going and see if it is the weakest link. Bing, bing. It's probably not going to be because the other two were, you know, yeah. Good morning, you guys. So last night I just read up to chapter 3 of this book just to get like a little bit into it since I finished the other one, and I definitely think the way to go was a little romance for sure. I'm already liking it. So we have our two main characters. They are both doctors within, what is that, archaeology, and he has a dig site that is her ancestors, like lore and legend and whatnot, and they're looking for, I believe it's a knife that her ancestor would have stolen. And so because he's not having the best luck with what he's trying to get done, she has been called in as like reinforcements to help. And they have like this rivalry, although they like both are thinking different things, but assume the other person's not. And so I do like that in romance. And it's got a lot of the comedy in the rom-com, which I personally do not mind there being a lot of comedy in my rom-coms. I think that that's part of it, but it's a certain kind of comedic element. It reminds me of like a 90s, no, early 2000s rom-com vibe where it's not taking itself super seriously. We're not getting into like super dark themes and like, what are you doing? Sorry, it's snowing and Jake is like a fan, but he's not a fan. Like he tries to fight it. So I don't really know what his problem is, but that's, honestly, he is a physical representation of my anxiety. Just randomly starts whining and freaking out. That is me. What? Anyways, so I do have an appointment today and I do need to finish editing my weekly vlog, which if y'all don't know, I always watch back the entire edited version of my weekly vlog. So that takes about an hour and a half every time. So other than those two things, which adds up to about 3 hours, I just have reading time today. So I think we'll easily knock out our hours today. And allegedly we're going to school tomorrow. Fingers crossed that's not true. Because the route that I have to take, let me just put it this way. I'm not probably going to go to school tomorrow. Let me just sum that up for you, because it gets so slick over the bridges and overpasses I have to take, and I don't want to. drive on that. Not here. People don't know how to do that. I'm anticipating I will have lots of reading time and I will be able to read a little bit extra tonight. So in theory, I should be able to easily finish this because a 300-page romance is like so bingeable to me. It's like the perfect little amount, you know what I mean? Okay, so let's get started. Okay, hi guys. So we're out in the kitchen because I am going to heat up a little muffin from Central Market. Yeah, the tree's still up. Okay. Ow. This book just got me back for what I was thinking about saying about it. Another flop. I fear. Here's the other thing though. Those two thrillers were not flops. They just did not live up to my incredibly high expectations, but this is actually entering into flop territory, which technically I guess is not that big of a deal because romance can really lean that way. And I usually don't have high expectations for romance unless it's KU, actually. I find that I enjoy KU romance more than traditionally published. The most traditionally published romance that I have enjoyed is the singular Tessa Dare that I have read, and then controversial take, warning, the writing duo, Christina Lauren. Into him. Love it. What's going on here? Honestly, I feel like I know too much now. I wish I didn't know as much as what's going on in here. I'm on page 238. I'm basically done because in my head, once I get together, the book's over. And that happened like just shy of 200 pages. So I've been bored for about 40 pages because all they've been doing is what you think. And I hate it because I'm like, this is archaeology. This is PhDs. These are academia moments. This is like interesting stuff. And actually, some of the historical stuff I didn't know. So I am interested in it. And then all of a sudden they're like, Dexter. And I'm like, oh, shut up. Don't ruin this for me. Now go back to why this knife is important to find, please, because I'd rather find that. But no, she finds something else multiple times. And listen, I don't even read those things, but I had to take a gander because this is some of the dialogue and some of the word and vocab choice is made were very like, I didn't like it, and I had to see if that translates. It does. I did it so you don't have to. So you don't have to go see if that's true. It is. And unfortunately, look at this cover. Look how beautiful this cover is. I wanted to own this book because of this cover. But this is why Olivia doesn't do cover buys anymore. Because cover buys are lies, okay? Cover buys are covering something up. No. Honestly, would probably like an actual romance reader enjoy this? Yeah, but also my most read genre last year was romance. So stepping into the scene, it's me, a romance reader, saying I didn't like this. I haven't finished it yet, but I'm already making the claim because I don't think it's gonna get better, and here's why. This is another structural issue for me, a writing issue for me. There's just a lot of telling us, not showing us. We continue to be told they're academic rivals, but we aren't really shown that because they act really friendly. Maybe it's because I'm a Cancer, but my rivals, I wouldn't even look their way twice. You know, I would sense that they're there. And then that part of the compass is dead to me. Like, I don't understand, but that's not to say academic rivals can be done really well. This just is not that to me. It's not appealing to me as being done well because it's a lot of telling us like this happened, this is how I feel, and then all of a sudden like a random smutty thought, and I'm like, where'd that come from? Who was that just left? Explain that. It's so weird. And then it's I feel like for this dynamic to work, there needs to be a lot more emotional development, and I think actually we've just talked it out. That's the thing that's lacking for me. There's not a whole lot of emotional development in here. Even with one of the subplots being one of their parents is actively going through a treatment for a disease. I don't want to like spoil things, but also kind of content warning if you don't like that. It's cancer treatment and it's not going well. And there's a lot of talk actually about losing parents and dealing with that and grief. And yet it's still not feeling very emotional. And I thought for sure when that popped up, I mean, this is gonna sound bad, but I was like, because this is gonna tie me emotionally here. This is gonna tug at those heartstrings. And then I'm also thinking, maybe I am not a 300-page romance girl. But also that's not true because I have liked quite a few of them too. So it's not, I don't even have to have slow burn. It's my preferred method, but I don't have to have that. Like I can get along with other versions of this romantical times. I think also it's the tonal, what are that, balancing or lack of balancing going on. Because at one point it feels very, like when we attempt to do the emotional stuff with the parent talk and grief talk, it feels very serious. And then all of a sudden, all we're talking and thinking about is like, you know? And then it's like a comedy. I just feel we need to pick one and dive in. Seriously though, I feel like that's part of my issue. I just can't, I'm gonna keep trying to do a vibe check and I'm just confused. The thermometer's coming back up and down, going everywhere. It can't tell me the temperature because I have no idea what's happening. I will say, the backdrop of it is fun. I do enjoy the backdrop of this story because, you know, we are in the jungles of Mexico. We are looking for some archaeological things, and I find that interesting, but that's probably my favorite part of this because I just feel like the romance has relied so heavily on us being told there's history and told there's chemistry there. But you know what honestly really would have helped is throwing in a few chapters showing them like meeting for the first time, then showing them studying together in this infamous library night, showing them like afterwards and the drama that happened. That would have really helped build up a lot instead of just telling me, because I'm like, I mean, I'll take your word for it, but I don't know. So I'm sad. But you know, I would say it's still in, me ranting about that, 3 stars. It's still in that category to me because it is like funny, haha, laugh, just not love. And I do like the setting a lot. And I like some of the other characters that we have in the scenes, and like they have some good lines, but then just some weird stuff comes in and I'm like, get her out of here. Who invited that one? Like it just gets weird. And it's not what's being said that's weird, it's just how it's being said. That's weird to me. I don't know. It's very hard for me to articulate my thoughts about a book without going into spoilers and whatnot, but also I'm kind of like, it's the whole thing feeling this way, not just specific scenes. Because I can excuse, like, you know, what was that scene in a romance? Because the rest of it's great, but not here. Not in this one. It's just, they're all just a little like, hey, I wish you hadn't used that word. That's kind of vibe. But I hope I don't feel like it's coming across really harsh. It's not a bad book though. It's just, I think my expectations were very high because it got compared to The Mummy and giving those vibes, and then also the Sandra Bullock Channing Tatum movie. And so I was very excited because I'm like, okay, so a romantic comedy with a little suspense and a little like action. Got it, sounds great. And my expectations are high because I really, first of all, I love The Mummy, and second of all, I really enjoyed that other movie with Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum. And now those expectations are like slowly going down. So I think if I hadn't gone in with high expectations, we would probably be at a 3.75 or a 4. But it's just, I'm gonna have to sit for a minute once I finish it and really work out like, what am I feeling? Because I need to take away the like let down feeling, because I don't feel like that's fair to put my expectations on the book onto the book for the final rating. You know? That's fine. So I'm gonna heat this up really quick and then I'm gonna finish this off and we will talk probably tomorrow and we'll see what I start next. Okay, so the ending redeemed itself, I have to say. I did enjoy the last, I even read the epilogue, y'all, because I was like, stop. Something about this book is going to be something I like. And I guess technically it wasn't an epilogue. It was chapter 24, but it was a 1 year later chapter, so I was like, you know, basically an epilogue. But it wasn't, so I read it. And let me adjust you real quick. Let me just get real close, personal, okay? All right, move your head down. Okay, thank you. So I stand by, this is definitely very, 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 very quick to go from absolutely hating each other, allegedly, to being in love. Whoa, a leap. I think this really does solidify my favorite, just to give you a, if you were curious, some of my favorite romances are All Roads Lead Here, and this one's not a romance, but there's a big romance in it, the Veronica Speedwell series. Yeah, exactly. So I do think that historical romances, because Veronica Speedwell, is it historical? It's in the Victorian era. I don't know. But just where the social norms were more adaptable to a slow burn vibe, I think that is more my speed. But I do read some KU books that I really enjoy, but I guess I wouldn't clarify them as like my favorites. And this isn't a favorite, but I wouldn't not recommend this. Now, I don't really need to own a copy of this. It's not my favorite. Like, I'm never gonna reread this. But if you want like a fun little adventure-y romance, I think this actually would be pretty solid. I would not say that it gives off the vibes of the Channing Tatum Sandra Bullock or movie by any means. And I would say it tries. So there is that, I will give it that. And then with The Mummy, it also tries. It just doesn't fully, it's like it's its own thing. So I don't think comparing them is gonna do it justice to your expectations. I do think that if you're more of a typical romance reader, or if you're not someone who like absolutely needs like a super big emotional connection to be plausible, and then also for you to feel connected, if that's not gonna get in the way and hinder it for you, then I definitely think like this is worth a quick little read. It was very fast paced. I read this in basically a day, because I think reading 30 pages yesterday doesn't really count. But I pretty much read, 240 pages today of this, and I wasn't bored. That's for one thing. I was not bored. So entertainment-wise, it was there. Towards the end, we got back into the thick of it with the plot part of the archaeological dig and some sinister turns of events. And I really liked the very ending, the 1 year later thing. I thought that was a cute little, like, at the end of the movie, they're all going to, like, you know, the reveal of this new archaeological find, and then it's like, is it over? Or is it? Like, I don't know. I like the ending. I could see there being another book, but also I could see there not being another book, and that just being like a fun little tip of the hat to some of the books that inspired this as per the author's note. So yeah, I would say that this one is definitely gonna be the most enjoyable one from this vlog thus far as an overarching thing. And I would probably recommend it. For me personally, it just wasn't my exact taste in romance, but I do have a very picky taste in romance specifically. Most other genres, not as much, but in romance and in fantasy romance, I'm pretty picky. So speaking of fantasy romance, I'm going to start When the Moon Hatched, and I'm gonna get with you once I have done that. Okay, hi, I'm here with a little updatey dates for When the Moon Hatched. So, hey, let's go ahead and just join hands, say some grace for me, give some grace to me. This book is 718 pages, and I'm on page 244. So to be fair, not bad. Not bad. I will say, when I put it into the, oh gosh, what's it called? Perspective, that I'm only 33% into this book, where we are at plot development wise makes sense. It's not upsetting. It's just like, oh yeah, that's a 30% mark. Like, we're starting to get into it. We're actually really, we're in the thick of it. Like, we're really in the thick of it. If she's in the thick of it, there's dragons. Hey, it's not going well. In this kingdom, they do execution by dragon. And honestly, if I was gonna go out, so I think the issue I'm having is I don't know what we're doing and when we're doing it and how we're gonna do it and who is gonna be involved. Like, I don't know. Hey, quick cue. What's going on? I don't know. I do know that our main character is like an assassin. Okay, love that. She very much gives Selena Sardothien vibes, which I'm here for. 100%. I did go look on Goodreads because I was like, ooh, some of them are not gonna like this. And I was correct. A lot of people don't like that because pretty much if any character is like super strong, sassy, and deep down actually loves people, they say it's a Selena ripoff. And I would argue that's a pretty bland character. So like that's gonna be a lot of characters in fantasy romance. Like, sorry. Do I think that Selena has the most personality out of the entire universe that world has been created? Yes, absolutely. But that's still not saying much. So that is not an issue for me in this. I find our main character, I find her funny, witty. I'm liking that. I'm just not liking that where are we? And also, I think I've met the love interest and I don't care for him at all. Like, he is so... I don't know, everyone's acting really weird and really suspicious-like, and I don't think I like it. But we just got intrigued, I suppose, and by we, I mean me and Jake. So I guess that I'm gonna continue on with this journey. I know I am. And I'm gonna try to give it some ambiance with the playlist. Some books, I think, benefit from an ambiance. I think thrillers and mysteries go with an ambiance room, like a classical music with rain in the background kind of thing. But then other books, like romances and fantasy romances, I'm gonna need to put on a playlist, okay? I'm just gonna need that. Because I feel like I'm in a movie. You know? And then with straight up fantasy, there's tons of scores. Typically video game scores I really like to listen to, and I have a whole playlist on Spotify for that, which I looked up and then added to. So yeah, we're gonna try round 2 with this, see how it goes. I do have a little bit more time than I thought, like I mentioned, so I don't know why I'm rushing. It just feels like sometimes I get frustrated when I'm in the mood to read, and it feels like I'm just running on ice and getting nowhere, and I'm gonna like bust my butt falling for another KU book that isn't good. That's to also say, every single romance I enjoy is a KU romance or an indie romance. So, in conclusion to my thesis statement here, I'm gonna give it a go. So let's keep it going. Okay, so I've read the prologue and the first 2 chapters of this officially, and I am actually really into this. First of all, I started listening to the audiobook alongside it. I have to recommend that because the tone in which I was reading this did not align with the intended tone that the author had, because the narrator is very much giving me like an older woman she sounds like that older woman narrator for like a cozy mystery that I've read, and I don't know which one. I have to look at who the narrator is. But it makes me feel like this is way more of like a cozy horror vibe. It's definitely got graphicness to it, but I don't mind that personally. I just don't love super, super, super intense heavy themes that are really graphic sometimes. Whereas like just like spooky ghosts or some little, heck, even like a demon moment, whatever it is, I prefer that, like jump scare kind of vibes, not let's delve into the darkest pits of humanity. Like, no thank you. Where's Casper? I'm liking this a lot. I'm really into it. And the daughter's about to be making her way downtown, driving past, faces past, and she's dad bound. Like she's about to find this man. Okay, she's Liam Neeson reverse. So yeah, I'm gonna start chapter 3, and hopefully the good time continues, because who would have thought my least favorite, I don't want to say least favorite genre, but just the one that I don't tend to gravitate towards the most, don't tend to, we're not gonna, actually, you know what? I'm not gonna finish that thought, because I'm not gonna jinx it. No. Oh, there's some allergies. That's very kind. One just lurking behind me. What are you doing? Huh? What are you doing, Ginger? Okay. You guys, we have a good one. We have a good one. I don't know if I'm gonna fully love the ending. We're getting towards it. I did not mean to read this as fast as I did, but I am on page 288 now. So in the audio, it tells me that I have 50 minutes left. We're 83%-ish in, and I just got back from brunch. Grabbed a few books from the library because why wouldn't I do that and add to my little collection? And now I'm gonna finish this one, and I am really liking it. The writing style is so like, I just don't want to stop reading it. I don't want to stop listening to it. I just want to keep going. Like, I'm so into it. I really like our main character. I can't really stand the daughter, but I think it's all of perspective kind of thing, so I'm giving her a little grace with that. And I am loving this haunted house story. Now, I see on the top that Grady Hendrix blurbed it, and the girls did not like Grady Hendrix's take on a haunted house. Let me tell you, I loved it. The thing I love about horror is when it dives into a topic that is actually, like, thematically way deeper and way more intense, I would say, than just, like, oh, it's a little scary strange. Like, this is, I don't know. How to Sell a Haunted House was all about grief and sibling dynamics, and I loved that book so much. I thought it was so good. This one I definitely think is dealing with aging, how society sees aging people, how it feels when that's happening, and then also there's a lot of stuff to do with, like, marital relationships. I don't want to go too far into it in case you want to pick it up, but definitely just, you know, check it out if you want to see what, like, maybe some content warnings are. It is a horror, so there are, like, some graphic things in it, but I'm really enjoying this. And I would say if you're gonna pick it up, go with audiobook. Like, it is a good little time. I grabbed the audio. I had to grab from Libro FM, which is like an alternative to Audible. If you ever want to try it, I think I usually have like a link down below. I also have a link for Scribd, which is like a free trial for that one. Libro is not a free trial. It's a sign up thing, I think. It is a free trial for Scribd, which I like. They do limit, so like we love a free trial. Just have a couple emails on your hand. And then I also grabbed obviously this copy from the library. So we're doing a little 1-2 action, but yeah, this is a good time. This is a good time. And I'm gonna go finish it now, so. Hello, it's me, and we have finished the last book, and I gave it a full 5 stars. I'm so happy to report it was a full 5 stars. I am so curious as to what's gonna come out of my mouth to describe this book to you, because I read this in a day. Pretty much, yeah, I read it in a day because I read 15 pages at work on my lunch break, and I was like, oh, okay, this is feeling a little goofy. And then I got the audiobook, and then I fell in freaking love. So y'all need to know, this is like if the first season of American Horror Story, that house was the setting, all the ghosts were there, and then there's an older woman who lives there with her husband, and every September the walls bleed and the ghosts come about. Now the ghosts come about all the time, but they really show out in September when it's, I don't know what's going on. I mean, September it's hot down here, but I don't think anything gets me really that active in September. I'm honestly very like lethargic in September because school's starting, work's getting stressful, it's hot, like I don't know, but they go crazy. So how can I even, okay, so picture American Horror Story first season house, all the ghosts, how we find out throughout the season, all the ghosts' stories. We do that in this book too. An older woman who's like, I would say 60s or older. So she's really not an older woman, but she is just an older main character, because I feel like main characters tend to be like 30s and 40s. So I thought that was a cool additive, and I liked that. She lives with her husband goes missing, and then her daughter comes home to try to find the husband. Okay, cool, we've got it caught up. I think I've mentioned that already to this point, but it has such a cozy mystery vibe, except, so it is the setting of American Horror Story, the vibe of American Horror Story, the tone of a cozy mystery, but the graphic and gore of American Horror Story. Like, it is, I didn't know that these two things that I love so much could be married together, but they did it. And I'm obsessed with it. And I will be reading everything this author picks up, or writes, and I will pick up. Because this was so good. This is the kind of horror I like, where we dive more into topics that aren't great and fun to talk about, but we do it in a way that makes it more palatable. It makes it, I don't know, just, it's a weird thing to say, but it makes it less scary to talk about things like this because of these other scary things that are monsters and like not real, although I think this stuff is real, but that's just me personally. And just things like that. Does that make sense? I think it's the same thing of like people with anxiety tend to watch more thriller and horror and stuff like that, TV and movies, because it's a safe place to get out that feeling of anxiety, knowing that the movie's gonna end, it's gonna be fine, everyone's gonna walk away in the end, or what, well, not everyone, but you know what I mean, like the world will be righted once more at the end of the movie, and your fear came to a final conclusion that felt safe, even though anxiety is just like this floating nebulous thing. Like, you get to hone in on this thing and then make it not feel that big and scary. I love that. That's part of the reason I love horror so much. Now, my love for horror does not translate to books. We've already talked about that. I love horror movies, and I don't really like horror TV shows. I really am not a TV show person in general, I'll say. I don't know what Jake is so weird. He's leaving. He's like, I don't want to hear about this book anymore. I've been talking about it all day. So anywho, I am not sure about the end. The end very much kind of gave you a little bit of, you could choose what you wanted to focus on in the end and what you wanted to really like take as the truth. I think I would love to know. Make sure you mark it as spoilers in the comments if you do want to talk about it, but I'd love to talk about it because I took it as we were sticking with our story of like, this is American Horror Story. Okay, this is like, the little ghosties are real and we are here. And I like that. I liked it. I think in a thriller it wouldn't have gone that way. So I really liked that this stuck to its horror vibe. It was just so good. And I do think it sounds like a weird mashup, but it is content, American Horror Story, Murder House, tonally a cozy mystery. I don't know how else to describe it. The other thing is though, all my cozy mysteries, a huge requirement for me is that if the main character is not 50 or older, preferably 60 or older. I don't know why, I just like that. The side characters are. So the Misfortune series has that. Vera Wong, the main character, is older. The Thursday Murder Club, also those. I just find it, I don't know, cozier for some reason. And I liked it in here. I just thought it was really well done. And this is what I was looking for to round out this vlog on a good note, because I love to do that. Like the horror movies, we gotta round it out to the end note that's good. And I think that this did that. And what I was gonna say before I didn't want to jinx it is, I think it is so funny that the genre I am least likely to pick up, because I do not tend to like it, and I don't tend to like the things that people like within the horror genre, fan base of books, ends up being the 5-star read of this vlog. When technically every other one, so we had a thriller, we had a romance, those were a 50-50 shot, but then we also had a fantasy romance. That should have been good. And yet here we are. That's just kind of how it goes. And then the September was just so good. I'd love to see this in a movie. I really hope that it would get optioned for one. I think it would be good. It would be so good. But in honor of that, leave a little house and a ghost emoji down below. I think that would be a little cute. And thank you so much for watching. I hope that you are staying hydrated and drinking your water, that you are being kind to yourself and others, and going out there and having a good day on purpose, because God bless it. You deserve it. Okay? Okay. And I will see you guys later. Bye!
Hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done.